Feeling strong.
Yeah. When do you expect to be playing for the Celtics?
The 2013-2014 season.
At what point?
Probably sometime in the winter. Maybe the fall, you just never know.
Ron, what are you able to do now in terms of conditioning, in terms of getting up and down, if at all?
I'm able to bike. The bike has become my friend.
Is there a limitation as far as how much time you have to spend on the bike, or you can spend on the bike?
No, I just try to do quick sprints, try to simulate, court things. You don't just get on a bike and run or play basketball for 10 minutes straight. You do quick sprints on and off, maybe 15 seconds on, 45 seconds off, just quick breaks like that. So.
Have they told you when you start doing basketball?
Well, I'm doing basketball things now. To what degree? I'm still no contact, but I'm able to get on the court and work on my shot, work on my free throws, work on my ball handling.
Have you scrimmaged at all?
No, I haven't scrimmaged. No contact.
Ron, what's your impressions of Brad Stevens?
Very humble. His communication lines have been great with me. Ever since he became the coach, he came to my camp, I think the following week or the same week he was hired. And we spent some time together, about an hour and a half down at my camp in Kentucky. And then ever since then, he's been texting me. He's given me a couple of books to read, emailed me some things I should look up on YouTube. So we've had lunch. We've had great communication so far. I think it was important for both of us to get off to a good start, get to know one another. This is his team, this is my team. So, like I said, I'm very supportive of him, and he's been very supportive of me.
How difficult was it for you to have when Paul and Kevin were traded?
What?
How difficult was it for you when they were traded?
It wasn't difficult at all.
What was it? What kind of feelings did you feel when that happened?
I didn't feel anything. I actually landed in LA the night of the draft, and I got about 45 text messages come through the phone, and I thought I was traded, but you never know. So Paul and Kevin were traded. I actually talked to both of them, text messaging, and I talked to them on the phone. So it's part of the business. It's not the first teammates that I've been close to that have been traded away. Perk, Tony Allen. So it's part of the process, and this is a fresh start for us. It's with a new coach and an entire new team.
How do you feel about the fresh start?
I'm excited about the fresh start. I couldn't be more. I'm excited every year, each team, but for me to get back on the court, I just want to compete. I've been competing a while, and I'm a very competitive player, very competitive person. So I miss being out there on the court with my teammates and helping them win.
Did you have to go through a certain situation?
No. Those are things that's out of my control, and I don't tend to worry about those things. I still have to live life and enjoy my life. So whatever the case may be, whenever that may happen, that's what will happen. But until then, I'm a Celtic, and I'll play as hard as I can for this organization.
Along the same lines, Doc, you talk about that transition. Doc,
Coach Stevens will be my first, new coach. I've only played for one coach my entire NBA career, so. But like I said, I met him the first week he was hired. I don't think it'll be a difficult transition. He's very positive, and he's always honest with me from day one.
But what about Doc?
What about Doc?
Comments about your career having been concluded, that era.
I give Doc a lot of credit. Doc was a great coach to play for. He was very hard on me. He helped me become the player I am today. I give him a lot of credit. And now he's going to LA, so that's that.
What was it like for you last year after you got injured, to kind of step back and watch the team from afar? They went on a bit of a losing streak right after you got hurt, and then be around them a little bit but not be able to contribute. How did that change, or did it change at all your perspective on the Celtics and basketball, having to step away for that long?
I just got to see other guys develop their game. Guys like Jeff Green. I studied his game. I studied Avery's game while I was down in Pensacola watching the Celtics play. So things I need to adjust for when I come back and play with these guys. I know Jeff loves to get the ball off the dribble, off the rebound and go himself. You know, when Jeff gets the ball this year, I'm just going to run the floor. You know, he can bring it up himself. I think he's his best when he's doing that at his position. You know, not a lot of guys can keep up with him athletically and his speed as well.
What degree of input, until you leave, what degree of input do you think you're going to have about just forming a system, forming a style?
Well, me and Brad have become best friends. So, you know, like I said, we talk every day. We laugh and joke. We just had dinner the other night. So I'm going to help him. He's going to help me. And, you know, he has my full support. And I told him from day one when he came to my camp that, you know, I'm 100% behind him. And whatever he wants to do, whatever he wants to change, I have an open mind, and I'm ready to listen and just, you know, be accountable for what he has to do for me.
I guess you had dinner, invited people over, the owners, the coaches, the players.
Who told you that?
He was
Little
there.
birdie. Yeah, you didn't invite us. We were just
No,
invited.
of course not.
But just how did that go?
I think the dinner went well. You know, I had to pay for the bill, but other than that, you know, Wick was there. All the coaches were there. A couple of players were there. A couple of them were out of town. But overall, it was a nice dinner. You know, we got to know one another. We shared some old stories. We shared some things, you know, guys were looking forward to doing. And, you know, just overall a great dinner. And everyone loved the menu that I picked out.
What was that?
It was a disclosed location, but
Can't say.
yeah, we had a little bit of everything on the menu, and like I said, I think Jared ate the most. And, it was a good dinner. It was a good dinner.
What did you think of the perception when Brad was hired? Everyone said, "Oh, he's going to deal with you." You're going to look at him like, "I don't know you. I'm not playing this way for you." What did you think of that? Did that motivate you to even want to bond with him more because everyone doubted whether you guys could bond?
Not really. You know, when I'm away in the summer, I don't, as you guys may know, I don't really, I'm hibernating. I'm away. I don't really pay too much attention of what the media said or what people say about me. So, and I think he has the same mindset. You know, he came and spoke with me. He didn't have any pre-things that he thought about me. You know, he was very open and honest, and I think I did the same thing with him. So, what people may say is different when you cross these lines. Coach and I, right now, have got off to a great start, and we'll continue to stay on those lines. You know, I respect him as a man and as this coach of this organization, and that's that.
Does it bother you that there's a perception that...
It doesn't bother me. You know, Coach, he didn't come in with a negative attitude or thinking, you know, differently of me, of what the media said. So, you know, I had to give him a lot of respect for that. And like I said, if I got my teammates' respect and the coach's respect, you know, that's all I can ask for. You know, everybody else really doesn't know me.
How much is your return going to be based on the mental aspects of just getting over that hurdle?
Everything. When I'm mentally ready, I'll play. You know, until you go through this type of injury, you know, a lot of people gave, you know, Derrick Rose a lot of heat about not playing or whatever the case may be. But you know, this injury isn't difficult. I mean, it isn't easy. At the same time, it's more mental when you come back. When you get around, you know, 10 or 11 months, it's just feeling confident. You want to feel confident, especially the type of players at the point guard position that we are. You know, our legs are pretty much everything. You know, we use our speed. He's very athletic. I'm athletic, and you need that mental aspect to go up and jump and come down without thinking about, you know, your leg again. So, because the last jump, you know, myself and him have come down and torn the ACL. So, it's just being mentally ready, and when I get there, I'll play.
Have you talked to Derrick?
I haven't talked to Derrick at all. I've talked to a lot of guys. I've talked to Wes Walker. You know, I talked to Perk. I talked to Tony Allen. I did a lot of research when I had my surgery and picked a lot of guys' brains about the timing. But each guy is different. Every surgery is different, and that's how I handle it.
Last question.
Have I done it?
Maybe like one move that you were able to do before, or something that you know, maybe you're a short burst or your burst of speed is really like that. It's just not really about it.
No specific move or anything. It's just when I feel confident and when I don't think about it, and I just go out there and play. Even when my knee may get hit or I have to go through a screen, you know, when I don't think about that part of the game or my knee during the game, then I'll be fine. I'll be ready to go.